So karibuni sana, got it? Yes, I start sharing my screen, and this is number 2. And then after the short introduction, now we can now hand over the discussion to Peter, who is going to tell us about his path getting the DAAD scholarship. So, because one of our goals is to inform people to know all these opportunities as much as possible. So this is our new concept. It is actually quite new. It was launched today. I hope you can see my screen. And it is called the Career Hub Academy. I'm a passionate trainer because I believe with training, you can go very far. And I believe in training as a group, because what I know is not what someone else knows. So we can complement each other if we form this platform and train each other. So the concept is revolving, let me say, a component called Brain Train, which was the concept came up after we had some discussion with some of the professionals that I know. Wendell was there, and Bramwell, he's based in Munich. So we said, well, there's always brain gain. Why not, instead of saying brain gain, say brain train? Because we can train our own people with our experiences we've gotten in the diaspora. We've been working with German companies, organizations. We've also worked back home. So with all the experiences that we have, why not pass on this skill to young people out there and help them acquire these IT and business skills and at least access the business market? And we realized that some of the problems we face, especially for our African students when they come to study here, they lack the practical skills and they don't know where to start. And when you come to such an environment where German students, they don't have gaps, they always have this connection between companies and industry. So they acquire these skills quite early. So we really start venturing into the job market, and I'm sure you can all agree. So if we can just structure and say, hey, yeah. So if we can structure and say, hey, why not, you can read through, I can share the link. Why not train our own people with our expertise that we have? And I'm very happy to have 2 people already. We have 2 trainers for today. That is Joy Wendell. And we have Noah Motai. He's a specialist in statistics, data, and R programming. And Joy, of course, front-end and back-end technologies. Joy will definitely briefly talk about that. And how we're going to kick off, etc., etc. We'll be launching many more trainers. And we're also hoping to partner with companies that also train. But the goal of this training is that we help our own students get internships with companies here. So for example, if you're fresh, like now Peter is looking to venture into logistics. So we definitely have someone in the pool who can say, hey, these are the logistics systems that are used by many companies in Germany. Take a look, maybe pay for some certificates so that at least you can acquire this skill. And we are hopeful that we can also be able to scale this up and help as many people as possible, and not just the ones who are in Germany, even back home. So I think nowadays with digital and technology, we can do a lot more. So let me stop there. Wendell, you can briefly introduce yourself, and then now we can go to Peter.
So yes, as I had introduced myself already earlier, I'm a software developer and musician here in Germany. I have a background in IT because I graduated from Jomo Kenyatta University as well, with a degree in IT. And thereafter, I've taught in Nairobi, Graphins, in Orero University, ZTech. I've been in all those colleges, Nairobi, teaching software engineering subjects. And it's only when I was there then and teaching these subjects that I noticed that I have a passion to mentor young people. And I was always very happy after I had taught young people and see that they are doing things, like they've built a website or they've created a database, and they've brought their projects to, they are working and they are successful. So I've been talking to Cara about front-end and back-end technologies, and I'm really willing also to mentor anybody who's willing. And I think I had also spoken to Shiko. She was willing to also do the same thing. And So I'm really looking forward to train in those front end and back end technologies. And when I say front end, I am talking about stuff like CSS, HTML, JavaScript, what the customers see. Yeah. And then there's the backend technologies that people don't see at all. And that's what has to do with databases and how now the front end communicates with the database. And of course, we also have tools that we need, young people need before getting into the job market. These are very important tools, especially now that people started working remotely. So we have like GitHub, and Slack, Postman, and I'm very willing to teach young people all these skills. Have I forgotten something, Carol?
I think you've said everything. And definitely, if you would like to become a trainer, there is a link here. You just need to click here, and then you can share with us your details, like the names, your email addresses, and what you'd like to train. We've tried to structure it as much as possible so that at least we know what are your competencies, and you can see, like in this drop down, you can also do multiple selections, so that is possible. And then once we get your form, and then so we definitely prepare the profile, and then we start now looking for the students. The demand is there. I'm so sure people are waiting for this, and they're looking for such programs. Peter being one of them, is looking into ERP tools in the logistics. So I feel this is really a nice thing to help each other. And I've also come across some few tools, and I'm also put up my profile here. And I was supposed to have upload a profile of Thierry. He's an architect here in Germany. He's also ready to train, to coach future architects to understand some of the tools German companies need. So definitely you can see it's really nice, and I'm very, very happy about that. And for now, for a start, we also have a database where students can meet. This was created by Joy. We have a Discord server. So when you click the Discord server, then you can join. You need to download the app. Maybe Joy, you can say something about the Discord server, at least for people who do not know what Discord is.
Discord basically is just a chat app that people are mostly using nowadays to organize things. You are a team and you want to organize yourselves into groups. For example, now we in this case we have web development, we have data science, we have R programming by Noah Mutai. And we can just organize all people who are interested in data science to go and access that channel and discuss things related to data science. And then we have web development, databases as well, collaboration tools. So it's a tool we want to take advantage of to organize ourselves into small groups, and also to communicate to each other while at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, as you can see, it's like an interconnecting platform where one person benefits, and then you're able to, to pass on the trainer model. Yeah. So we are creating this for the generations to come, that when we learn something, we learn a skill, we tell this person, hey, you're the next, you're going to train 10 people. And I'm sure with this, we won't go wrong. So thank you so much. Let me stop sharing my screen. I will share the link here, and then we can continue. Super. I'm also multitasking. So that is the link. You can check later on. Yeah. And apart from the brain train concept, we are very happy to have Peter. And he's, as he said, he's on a DAAD scholarship, and which is a very new scholarship. It's a competitive scholarship, I know, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. So that's why we decided to bring him on the platform to talk about like how he came to know about the scholarship, what are the requirements, because I think that is a key thing for many people. And of course, about the studying culture in Germany, how should international students prepare to study in Germany, what are the challenges, because it's always that smooth. Yeah, so Peter, thank you so much. Let us know who is Peter, and then now we can, towards the end, we can have a Q&A session.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you AG Career Hub for bringing me on board and to share my experience and just to be a source of motivation to anyone who might be willing or intending to apply to any scholarship, not only in DAAD, but many other sources of information. So I'm Peter Dianga, and by origin, I'm a Kenyan. I was staying in Nairobi before Germany, and I studied at JKUAT and graduated in 2017 with a bachelor degree in purchasing and supplies management. And in between, I've been involved in different activities, many in internship, just to gain a little bit of skill and experience in my area of expertise. And in Kenya, it's not normally easy to get a job, I would say that. And through that, I also became aware of other opportunity to expand my knowledge. And that's why the idea of applying for scholarship came. So more will follow in the subsequent Q&A session. Thank you.
Yeah, Peter is one of those, let me say, go-getters, because as soon as he's like, I need to understand how the system functions here. And he reached out to us if we can discuss with him about their career perspectives in Germany. And so you can see when you search for opportunities, you're able to meet with the right people. And one of the key things that I told him about is you have to, when you're applying for jobs, you have to make sure you have a very nice application photo, because Germans, they really put value on the application and how it looks like, and even a photo, which is not a very common thing according to where we come from. So he has a very nice photo, and when you look at that photo, you're so convinced that this young man, we have to give him some internship. So I'm sure it was not easy for you applying for scholarships, and there are people who are like, they try once, they're like, I don't think I'll ever get this scholarship. So how did you get to know about the DAAD scholarship, and how many scholarships do you apply before getting the LFA scholarship?
Oh, thank you. Dating back in 2020, it was between the month of August and October. So the DAAD launched a new scholarship program under the Leadership for Africa, targeting East African countries as a pilot test. They involved 4 countries, that's Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Sudan. And the information I got to know via Facebook, actually. That was my first hand, how I reached the information. So I saw like there's no one who was liking the post. Then I said, maybe let me just go and see the website. Before that, I really didn't have any idea what DAAD does and who they are. So I just went to the general website and read everything. Then I found like they have also a representative office in Nairobi. So through their website, I went again to the Nairobi office and read everything with the scholarship, the requirements, and I found out like I'm meeting actually all the requirements. And that was my first impression that maybe this one I can do it and I can just apply and make it, who knows. But before DAAD, the road has not been really nice, bumpy road, I would say. And initially, I wanted to study in the UK or in Canada. And UK, for some reason, also they offer a lot of scholarship, but they are really competitive because many people make the applications. One of them being Chevening scholarship. I applied for it, but yeah, it was never successful. And I applied again to Felix Scholarship, which is funding master's and PhD programs at the University of Reading. I was also not lucky with that, but University of Reading, I also secured a scholarship last year, which was partial, but I could not take it because I already got the DAAD. And also, I was also fortunate to get another scholarship called the Great Scholarship, being offered by the University of Kent, that's in the UK. So they also gave me partial scholarship. So I could not take the offer because the other half is really not manageable to fund. It's a lot of funds or a lot of finances. So again, I send my apologies in a good way that I could not take up the offer, and they wish me all the best with the choice I made with the DAAD. So the DAAD, the main reason I took DAAD is it was fully funded scholarship.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry on how you survive in Europe. We all know how life is costly, because good quality of life, it means there are many things you have to pay for. And as a result, I had to make a big choice of going far away from home to come and study in Germany. And today I'm here and I'm happy to share the experience.
Wow. Thank you, Peter. So what are some of the requirements? What should students put in consideration when they're applying for the scholarships? It's actually, there's a current call, and I think the deadline is in June, right? For the
It's on 30th.
30th of June.
Yes.
Okay. So we can help them, at least they can prepare for the current intake right now, at least to know what are the expectations from the DAAD, apart from, having nice credentials.
Mine is to say, I will say with particular specification to the DAAD and the program I applied to, I think the most important thing is you need really to read all the requirements at first hand, because it makes you to know exactly where your stand is with the requirements and what you miss and what you have at hand. Because reading is really important. For most people, they normally reach out to me and they ask you questions which for some reason they need not to ask, because you need to read and ask me exactly what you don't understand. Not that I need to read for everything, I need to give you everything, because I was not given everything when I was applying for the scholarship. I had to attend many webinars, I cannot remember the number, and I had to write motivation letter with so much adjustments all the time. And for this motivation letter, I would also request that you also need your support system. Support system is like people who can review your motivation letter, because you are the only one who can tell your story, not them, not anyone, because that's what the DAAD wants, authenticity of your story. And what problem you are going to solve for this scholarship is generally to find the problem you want to solve back home. Not exactly, of course, enjoyment is part of life, but at the end of the day, there's a problem you want to solve, and that's why they want to fund. So they will only fund what is authentic. So for example, if I talk from my case, I was looking at the public procurement corruption in Kenya. So for some reason, that's what I talked through my motivation letter. That's what I want to solve in future. So you have to identify the statement problem for some reasons, because it makes them to know this candidate already knows what he or she wants. So it's easy for them to fund you, because they already know, like, oh, this one knows exactly what they want. So for me, the motivation letter forms a very basic part of the scholarship under the checking of the documents. And the second thing is the CV. They have a particular format, which is based in the Europass. You need to create your account and key in your credentials, and that's where that's what you will use in the entire application in Germany. And the good thing, they provide all the information. That's why my first statement was read every requirement from top to down. There are so many, but you have to read them. Because that is where the secret is. And even they provide some basic structure on how maybe you can approach your motivation letter. So the first thing is you have to read.
Thank you. I think that's, you've done it. You've said it all, because we don't want to spoon feed them. At the end of the day, it's your own story and you're chasing this goal alone. So go and read. And if you don't understand, then get in touch with Peter. At least we have a mentor there. And we hope to bring actually many more people who received scholarships here to come and talk about their experiences. And we've also hosted a few, Wendo being one of them, who've secured different scholarships, from car a day from Jacobs University, etc., etc. There's also another scholarship called Deutschland Stipendium, which is also within the German universities. We also hosted a Kenyan who also got a scholarship. So check the website, see if we can also find that mentor to review that motivation letter. So Peter, of course, like when we come here, most of us come here with that huge, let me say, many expectations, and sometimes we are hit by the culture shock. Like, okay, so how do I fit in? What are some of the challenges that most international students face, especially coming into such a culture, which is very different from where we come from?
Yeah, I'll again speak out of my personal experience, because when I came first, of course, the flight and everything was smooth flowing, I would say. But I think I'll always recall a particular incident when I landed in Munster. Then I needed to come to Osnabrück. Then I have to like take the bus, and I remember the driver didn't know anything to do with English. And for the first time, I think I had to use sign language to communicate. So
language is important. Yes.
You need the basic knowledge, I would say that. So the good thing, the DAAD provided like a preliminary language course. It was intensive online, but it is never enough to really communicate, like to prolong your conversation with a German or a native German who had no idea with English language. So language, I think the initial experience with the language will be maybe just have the basic knowledge at hand. And then the adapting to the system also took me some time, because it's like the world is running and you are sitting, because every time is so much structured, and even going out, you have to look at your time, when is the bus passing, and when, like, everything is structured, and you always have to keep in touch, or otherwise it might not be a good experience if you are not able to adapt.
And
Yes.
time. If you
Yes.
miss a train, sometimes you can wait for 4 hours for the next train.
Efficiency requires you to have, like, you have to adapt, and you have to adapt very quickly as soon as possible.
Wow.
Yes.
And of course, food, diet, everything. So that brings me to our next discussion. Like, what is the structure of the program, and like being within the university and also being part of the DAAD? I'm sure they have their own programs where they mentor students when they come here. What like, maybe just give us a background of like how your lectures are, and then you can go to like things like accommodation, all those things, like let me say the study life of a student in Germany. How is your day-to-day life?
My day-to-day life is always busy and demanding, because your to-do list is always packed with different activities for the school, and they normally encourage the group work, and they appreciate you coming with your own idea on how to approach a problem. And deadline is really big here. You have to meet the deadline.
It is a deadline.
Yeah, it is a deadline. If it is 7 p.m., it is 7 p.m. and not after 1 second. So if you want to be really good with you need to maintain your, I would say you have to really apply yourself fully to everything you are doing, and you have to keep in touch with the deadlines. And I will say I enjoy the group and the internationalization of my program, because I'm able to meet with other students from all over different parts of the world, and we are able to speak one language. That's the good thing. The majority speaks English, so it's easy for me to integrate with them. And also the professors are also friendly. For some reason, my course director has been in Kenya for some time back. And he was also, I think there's a program he was attending in Kisumu. So he knows that I'm a Luo, and for some reason he always look up to, like I have to say something. So it's always nice. Like I think for some reason Osnabrück has been a blessing in some way. I normally say that because I normally keep in touch with also other scholars, and when they share their stories, I find like we are parallel in different now. Everybody's adapting and what they are experiencing. Yes.
Yeah. Nice approach. Nice approach. Yeah, I keep telling people come here with an open mindset. The people who think, oh, Germans are terrible, but just come here with an open mind, ready to learn, ready to integrate, ready to understand the systems, and also ready also to hang around with not just, let me say, amongst us as Africans, but also mix up with even the Germans themselves, yeah, because they help you to understand a lot of culture. They understand the education system better than ourselves. So like in my case, I always mingled with them, go for a beer with them, but bear it at the back of your mind. You should not lose your focus. You came here to study. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. What else did I want to ask to discuss? Like, so you're in a setup where, let me say, most of the things here function. Yeah. When you compare the system, we are not here to compare the systems between Kenya and Germany, but we're here to see which part can we take or what can we learn and see how we can enhance or add to our systems back home. So I'm sure like there's something that you've seen that you're like, these are some of the 2 things or 3 things I would really like to implement back home or to see being implemented back home. Yeah? And I keep saying logistics has been there for years, for decades, and it's just something that we just need to, let me say, have sufficient ways that nowadays there's a lot of blockchain technology applications to make sure things like corruption are reduced. Yeah, but maybe from your point of view, what do you wish that you would take if someone comes and says, Peter, we're going back to Kenya, or maybe a German company approaches you and say, hey, we're going to set up a subsidiary in Kenya, or a Kenyan company approaches you and say, we need your expertise. What would you put in your suitcase and take home with you?
I like the sustainability approach in the German system with regards to transport and logistics, if I will say that, because for example, the DHL, I've seen like most of the deliveries they do, their cars, there's zero emission. And in Nairobi, I normally remember there's so much dust, and the air we breathe is not good. And this is a case which was confirmed, I think, during the corona when there was lockdown. The people were able to see like some view of Mount Kenya, which was not possible before because of a lot of emission, but now they were able. So it's something like if they can implement a way of maybe like Rwanda, there is a day where there is no cars in the city. So if we can try to implement the small steps, I know it's not really easy because I know how our system is. It's not really easy because many people depend on that public transport system, and it is not good the way it is at the moment, because maybe we know the obvious reasons why things might not work as we need, because even recently they built the expressway and already they realize there's something they didn't do. So who is going to bear the extra cost? Is the public. So these are the problems we need to avoid before maybe making the mega projects or starting the mega projects. So for me, sustainability is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. There's a student we hosted and he was doing his PhD on sustainability and not his master's. And he's one of the things that fascinated him is how people use bikes here. Yeah, you find even a professor is riding his bike, and that really shocked him because this is from the culture we come from. You know, those big bosses, they're always moving around with big machines, and this professor is just rushing up and down in the bicycle. And his goal was actually to see how can we like have bicycle paths in Kenya, and that was one of his projects. He was trying to see how possible that can be, at least at their cycling paths, just like here, to encourage people to use motorbikes. Yeah, and recently I met a startup He's actually based in Nürnberg. He's pushing for solar motorcycles. So he's looking for funding to have solar motorcycles in Tanzania. So I think we are doing a few things are being done, and I hope that very soon we will see you being part of the part chai and trying to contribute to your skills. So about the tapping the job market, of course, that's something you have at the back of your mind. What have you learned? What should students also prepare after finishing their master courses or their undergraduate courses or their PhD, and regarding to tapping the job market in Germany? Maybe you can also share with us a few tips, and then we can close the discussion or have a Q&A session.
On the job market, I think it's always good to start early because you might maybe finish your studies and maybe you don't have like prerequisite skills maybe to fit in the German system, because they will say maybe, oh, you haven't done anything so far in our country. And they might not be sure maybe whether to include you in their plans or not. But yeah, for me, if you ask me, I think if possible, always find time to do something before then, especially in your area of interest. Yeah, for me now, I think I have like an internship, which I'm supposed to start in mid of July. So I think the good thing is start early, because we as foreigners, we don't have much time here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also try to see, one of the tips I give to students is try to Google some jobs, like as soon as you come here, to see the kind of let me say the job descriptions they're looking for. What kind of skills, what are they exactly looking for? So by the time you're finishing your 4 semesters or 4.5 semesters or 6 semesters, at least you have a rough idea what is expected of you. And if you can, learn the language. This is, even if you're studying in English, learn the language. I'm sure all of you in this meeting will agree to that the language is very, very essential.
Yes, and just to add on the same area with the job market, also reaching out to the professors is very, very, very critical, because the word they give is a blessing. So yeah, for some of us, we appreciate, because good relationship with the professor, it makes your work manageable, at least when looking for opportunities.
Yes, that's also a nice thing. I keep also telling them, like, when you come here, there are two places you should walk into the international office and tell them you would like to volunteer and help international students who are coming here. So those are some of the things that I did, and many other students did. And out of this, you're able to even to mingle or get closer to these professors. And you just never know, you might also secure a scholarship within the university. And thirdly, some of these professors, they also work in the industry. So they can easily recommend you for an internship or for a project, or, for many things. So get close to a professor, walk into the international office and check around and see which student's job can I find in my area of profession. Of course, sometimes it's not easy with no language skills, but Siria Urembo, that is the secret of fitting into the job market here. Yeah, thank you so much, Peter. I think you've said it all, unless anyone else had something to add or to comment, and then we can go into a short discussion and then close the meeting. Wendo, you want to add something?
Sorry, I was muted.
No problem.
Yeah, I wanted to add something when it comes to software development, because that's my field. Before entering into the job market, what junior software developers should do is do things. You can ask friends if you could create portfolios for them. You can create small websites for small businesses, or just support a business in on social media stuff, and so forth. And then the other thing that you need to put in mind is the collaboration tools, as I had spoken earlier. Currently, as we speak, software jobs, mostly employers are looking for people who have those collaboration tools.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have knowledge about collaboration tools, so that in case of anything like a pandemic, you can collaborate with a team even while home or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we are living in a country where all these things are there. I mean, there's free internet, basically like free internet. Of course, sometimes you have to pay, but get those IT tools if you can. Yeah? They really also help you to fit into the job market. And what else I want to add? That's something that you mentioned. I've just forgotten. Yes, exactly. You can volunteer to work for companies, and maybe if you're very good in social media, try approach company and say, "Can I help you to, with your social media?" and put it on your in your CV and say, "I am working for this company. I am volunteering to acquire a skill or two with this company." So there's so many things, and you will definitely learn so much. Yeah,
there's a lot to do when you think about that, because even most businesses are looking for they want to push their businesses to the top of the search engine. So if you look at SEO, search engine optimization, you can also look into Google Analytics and help them with such things.
Oh yeah. And like there's a friend who did a course online, and you had supposed to look for an internship, and she found internships with companies that are they're on the cloud. So that's also another option. Look for internships with those companies on the cloud. There's sometimes some startups, they do not have capital to set up offices. They're operating on the cloud. And yeah, she did digital marketing for 6 months and learned so much. The company was in the US and she was here taking care of her small baby. So she learned so much. Yeah. Super.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe Peter, you want to say your closing remark, and then I'll stop the transmission. Then we can have a short discussion and then end the meeting.
Mine is to say thank you for the opportunity to share the experience, and hopefully this will be an encouragement to whoever who is looking forward to a different challenge in a new place. So mine is to say thank you and to say thank you for my friends, Suleiman, Joy, and my family. And yes, I would say I'm grateful. Have a good day.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a new mentor. So anyone, if you'd like Peter to review your application documents for the current call, please reach out. You can send us an email. I'll drop an email address or his email address where you can also get in touch with him. And hopefully we'll see many more Kenyan faces in Germany. Anyone else would like to say something before we stop the transmission? Noah?
Not really, but I just wanted to echo what Peter said, the requirements. Yeah, I think one of the reasons why people don't get scholarships is because of the requirements, basically. Like, if you don't meet the requirements, I think you don't have business applying for it anyway. So the requirement is very important, and also the problem. Like, most of the DAAD scholarship, what is the problem? Because most people don't have any problem to solve at all anyway. Yeah, I wanted to echo that. Just. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you, Peter, for the good presentation.
Thank you, Noah, for adding that. Yeah, that's also very important, and that you check and make sure you help them understand or convince them why you really need that scholarship. So let me stop the live